Okay, so here we are on part 2 of the beginning of Photoshop. Now, what the object is we want to get this out of here because it ruins the picture. I'm sure you have some pictures at home that are ruined because something happened incorrect. But that's what the beauty is of Photoshop, and it's a very, very powerful program. I don't think there's anybody in the world that knows every single thing about it, and they change it every year or so, so nobody knows everything about it. This part over here, this is the toolbar. This is what you really, really, really are going to use constantly with Photoshop. And you can see you can move it anywhere you want to make it more convenient for you. I'm going to actually move it over here. And we are going to learn each one of these tools. Now, you'll notice that some of these tools, but this one has a little dot next to it. Actually, it's a little arrow. This one, this one. That means when you click on it, it will give you 3 more tools, or 1 and 2 more. If you click on this one, the eyedropper, you have the eyedropper, a color sample tool, ruler, lots of different tools. So you can see that these are, there's a lot of tools. Not a problem. We're going to learn one at a time. Some are more useful and some are less useful. So we're going to try this one first. We're going to go down to this one. If you hover over it, you'll see it's called the CloneStamp tool. And if you click on it, you'll notice there's 2 tools. You want to stay with the top one, the CloneStamp. And when you move your mouse over into this picture, it's going to be a circle. We're going to have to make that circle a little bit smaller, and so we're going to go up here, and you can see it's at 106 pixels. That's how you measure things in Photoshop. And we're going to cut it down by, I don't know, half, make it 60. You can see it's much smaller now. In fact, we needed probably a little bit smaller than that. So here it is, and that can be closed up by clicking the arrow again. So we have the CloneStamp tool, it's highlighted, and about 40 pixels. So the next thing is, how are we going to get this out? Well, the CloneStamp tool works like this. If you click in a section, you can move that particular color, actually they're pixels, into another section. All you have to do is find the Option tool on your the Option key on your keyboard, which is right between the Command tool and the Control tool, and you'll see it on both sides of your keyboard, to the left and the right of the space bar, beyond the Apple key, or the Command key, I should say. So here's the mouse over here. I'm going to put my finger on the Option tool, and you'll see you get a circle with a target, crosshairs. Now I'm going to click with my mouse, holding down the Option key right there. Nothing happens, but I have now taken a sample of that particular section, because now I'm going to click and drag over here. You can see there's a crosshair where my sample was taken by holding the Option key, and now I can move the same color of the top of that wall over here. And I'm moving over, I can't go too far because the white color would not work, because where the crosshair is where it's sampling the colors. I'm going to let go a second. So you can see I've started to take this thing away. Now, had I taken the sample by clicking the Option key here, it wouldn't be the right color, because I'm trying to match the same color to get rid of this hand back. So I'm going to continue doing that, and I'm actually going to go over on this side and hold down the Option key, click the mouse key, let go, and now I'm going to come back. I need to get rid of that shadow for sure. And back here, this takes a little time. You sample, you take a look. I got a little smudge here. It's not that hard. Sample it again, take it out. Beautiful. Now, one of the beauties of Photoshop is that you need to learn to get real close, because it's a little hard for me. I did pretty well, but not nearly what we need. So I'm going over to another tool. It's the magnifying tool, and called the zoom tool, I should say. And when I move my mouse over here, it gives a plus sign. If I click, I make it bigger. I click again, I make it bigger yet. I'm actually getting close to what I need. I click again, and now it's up close and personal. Let me go back to the CloneStamp tool. And now the CloneStamp tool is much bigger. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller by going to 40 again and making it smaller. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold down the Option key, click on the mouse to sample the color, and now begin to move that color, that white color. Look how much easier it is to see over here. I've got to get a better job here. Now, I'm going to try to get right up to the edge. Now, you can see where that crosshair is. So those are the colors that I'm sampling. If it moved up here, it wouldn't be good. But I'm doing fairly well, considering I'm doing it very quickly. If you click it up here and then click down here, you get better white. Take the hand tool, which is not that one. That's not the hand tool. It's down here. I click on the hand tool and I move this all down. Now I got to get rid of this pocketbook, but it doesn't have the white here. I don't want white over here. I want this, or I want this. So back to the CloneStamp tool. Get the proper size brush, which is this circle. Hold down the Option key, click the sample, and now start to make that color onto the handbag. I'm going to do it again, closer in. You can see how I'm getting rid of the details of the handbag. And you're saying to me, well, that's great, but this is really where water should be. We want to see through that water. Well, I think some of you have probably figured it out by now. I'm going to click over here. In fact, I'm going to click pretty close to the handbag. Hold down the Option key, click the mouse to get a sample, and abracadabra, look what I can do. Now up here I want it a little darker, so I'm going to click it again, sample it again. Again, this takes a little time. Now I'm going to get real close, sample it, drag it. Need some more. Now, I'm starting to get to this to be a little too light. So I need to sort of go over here and sample it. Something like that. And let me go here. I think you get the idea. And you're going to do a much better job than I am because you're going to take your time. Now here, obviously, I need to do something. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select, I have a sort of a fuzzy brush. Let me get a hard edge brush here. And now I'm going to go back to where I was, sample, and really get in there so that I get a little bit of an edge. Okay, now let's go back to the zoom tool. I'm going to click on it, and this time I don't want it to be bigger with a plus sign. All I have to do is hit the Option key again and click it a couple times, and guess what? I'm back to where I wanted to be with the original picture, and that's all been done here. If I click here, oops, if I click here, here's the handbag, and if I click here to see this, the handbag is gone. I'd say that looks pretty good, don't you? I didn't do it perfectly, but this is the picture I wanted. This is the picture I worked with. So now you can see the beginnings of what Photoshop can do for you. That's the end of this lesson. Good luck.